Well, I am live. Good morning, everybody. I am super excited about today, and hopefully, you have a copy of Covert Invasion with you. If not, what's wrong with you? No, seriously, it's just came out today, and if you didn't pre-order, there's I don't know, it was a ton. It was the most pre-orders I've ever had in any of my novels, and probably also the most emails I've gotten from people that were like, "When is the next book coming out?" So I can tell you guys are excited about this. I'm excited about it, and I've been super excited about, as far as everything that's going on here. Um, I'm just excited about you guys getting to read it and check it out for yourself and sharing it with other people and just continuing the series, which I don't know, for a while I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm done with Brady Hawk, but you guys weren't, and I'm really grateful you guys pushed me on because I really like how this reboot is going. So anyway, but before we jump in, a few things I wanted to talk about first while we're waiting for people to join in and watch. As you can see, my newest office decoration, which has not been put up yet, but my Atlanta Braves won the World Series, and I'm super happy about that. Let me tell you, that was not what I expected. Covered the Braves for years. I was there. If you guys are big baseball fans, you may remember, if you watched the World Series, or you may casual fans still remember, in 1996, I was covering the World Series, and the Braves were playing the Yankees, and the Yankees were down. The Braves were up 2-1 in the series and up 6-3 in the game, and 2 outs in the eighth, and it looks like top of the eighth. It looked like they were on cruise control, and then Mark Wohlers gave up a home run to Jim Leyritz, and that was like the beginning of the Yankees, like, kind of ascension to where they were just awesome for like about 4 or 5 years. And then the Braves, just more heartbreak and pain. So I have to say that them when they win the World Series, that was super exciting because I did not see that coming. I was just had given up on the Braves. I went on vacation at the beginning of August, and I was like, there's no way this team's going to do it. They had a great run, and even if they make the playoffs, they'll get bounced in the first round by somebody. But anyway, that's not how it happened. And it was very, very surprising. So lots of fun fandom things for me as a sports fan. Usually it's the seasons end in bitter tears and just hating watching the other team celebrate on our field or something. And right now Georgia is number 1, and I'm sure that will be coming soon for Georgia and all our beleaguered fans. But anyway, that's what's going on there. So anyway, lots of fun stuff happening. But I wanted to read people. I did this a few weeks ago with the release of The Patriot and the Titus Black series, and I got some really good feedback. So I thought I would start by reading the first chapter of Covert Invasion for you guys, and which is really exciting to read about. I will, or exciting to read, I guess, for me. I've read this several times, and the words, I'm not a professional, okay, so I'll just preface that up front. I do my best, and I forget sometimes how challenging I make this for Dwight Kuhlman or Kyle Tate or some of the guys that are reading my books, and when I put these characters in interesting places. So I will do my best, and hopefully you'll enjoy this as much as I'm enjoying it. So anyway, here we go. Covert Invasion. This is book 3 in the Phoenix Chronicles, which is the kind of the reboot of the Brady Hawk series. And so here we go. Chapter 1, Cockshaw 2 Mountain Range, Kyrgyzstan. Brady Hawk set the final explosive in place before hustling across the snow-covered prison yard to take cover. Crouching low behind a dumpster, Hawk initiated the firing sequence. One by one, explosions rocked the compound, setting off a flurry of activity and a violent clash between guards and prisoners. And that was all Hawk needed to complete the next part of his mission. Hawk carefully approached a gaping hole in the back wall where prisoners were streaming out into the night air. A spotlight from a guard had swung toward the opening, and a guard was firing shots at all the escapees. However, He stopped suddenly and turned his attention to the dozen or so men racing up the stairs toward him. Hawk waited until the mass exodus had subsided for a moment before entering the building. As men streamed by Hawk, he looked past them, scanning the cell doors that hadn't been sprung open. He glanced at the picture in his hand, refreshing his memory about the face of the man he was there to extract. On one side was the last known image of Oleg Bokarov, when he was in good standing with the Russian elite. On the other side was a computer rendering of what he might look like after being tortured and deprived in one of the few ruthless prisons that survived from the old Soviet era. That stark contrast made Hawk shudder as he continued his search. "How's it going?" Alex, his wife and Magnum Group colleague, asked over the comms. "It'd be going great if I could just find Bokarov," Hawk said. "Well, you need to hurry it up," she said. "The Kyrgyzstan military installment 5 miles away has some new activity, and I can only assume that their help has been requested." "Bokarov was supposed to be in his cell block," Hawk said, "and if he's here, I don't see him." All of Hawk's intel about the Kyrgyzstan prison had been flawless, until now. And while he wished Alex could help, there was only so much she could do from thousands of miles away watching on a satellite feed. He was on his own, and the already challenging task became more daunting. Where is he? Hawk scanned the area once more before he noticed a guard who was storming toward him. The man trained his gun on Hawk, who began to assess what might be the best of his limited options. A gunfight would attract more unnecessary attention. Running could draw the guard outside, or he could call for help and make the situation worse. Or he could stand and face the man. Hawk didn't like any of them as he fingered the trigger on the gun in his pocket. A bitter chill swept inside the freshly ventilated prison. Hawk tugged down on his Ushanka ear flaps as the guard approached. "Tik Tai?" he asked. "Where's Oleg Bokarov?" Hawk asked in Russian, ignoring the man's demands to know who Hawk was. "Tik Tai," the man repeated. "Bokarov idet po koridoru," a prisoner shouted as he hustled by. "So he's down the hall?" Hawk said, eyeing the guard closely. "Take me to him." The guard didn't flinch. "You're responsible for this, aren't you?" "Take me to Bokarov," Hawk said, locking eyes with the man. "No," the guard said. "You're coming with me." Using his weapon, he motioned for Hawk to turn around, which he did, but only for a moment. Hawk spun back quickly, knocking the gun out of the man's hand. As he dove for the weapon, Hawk kicked the man in the face. He groaned as he rolled over onto his back. When he tried to get up, Hawk put a knee on the man's chest and punched him repeatedly until he fell unconscious. Then Hawk snatched the keys off the man's belt before tossing the guard's gun to a prisoner racing to freedom. Hawk jumped to his feet and then maneuvered his way through the latest wave of prisoners, headed toward the open hole in the wall. "Got those prison doors open, I see," Hawk said over his comms. Alex sighed with satisfaction. "All thanks to you. That's about the simplest hack I've had in a prison system in a long time." "If only you could locate Bokarov's exact cell for me, it'd save me even some more trouble," Hawk said. "I know I'm amazing, but even I have my limits," she said. "As you might imagine, the record-keeping in the Kyrgyzstan prison isn't exactly the most detailed or even available. For that matter, I'm surprised that 80% actually survive a year in those places." Hawk stopped and looked down at the picture in his hand again. He scanned the cells as he continued his slow journey against the tide of prisoners. Most of them were already empty, but the ones that weren't, he tried to compare the faces to on his picture. As the prisoners exiting stared at him, Hawk wondered how much time he had left before the only people left in the building would be guards. "Come on, Hawk," Alex said. "You got to find Bokarov now or get the hell out of there. I don't want to tell John Daniel that his dad won't be home to read him any more bedtime stories because he's stuck in a Kyrgyzstan prison." "That makes 2 of us," Hawk said. He squinted as he noticed a man curled up in a fetal position facing a wall. Hawk hustled over to the man and gently rolled him over. "Found him," Hawk said. "Good," she said. "Now get the hell out of there." Hawk tried to help Bokarov to his feet, but the old man wasn't complying, remaining motionless. "I'm here to help you. Get out of this place," Hawk said in Russian. Bokarov looked up at Hawk, their eyes meeting for the first time. "Why me? Why now?" "I need your help," Hawk said, "and quite frankly, no one deserves to live like this, especially someone as old as you." Bokarov flashed a hint of a smile. "I prayed last night to God that he would take me. I didn't know he would answer my prayers like this." "I'm not God," Hawk said. "But I am going to take you if you can get up and come with me."
"I can't walk," the old man said. "I can barely breathe."
Hawk glanced over his shoulder and noticed that there weren't any more prisoners running down the corridor, but he could hear guards shouting in the distance, their voices growing louder. Hawk scooped up Bokorov's frail frame like a sack of potatoes. As Hawk hustled down the hall toward the opening, he estimated that Bokorov couldn't weigh more than 100 pounds. With wrinkled skin sagging off his bones, Bokorov appeared too weak to make any type of a getaway, especially in the unforgiving winter conditions. Hawk knew that getting the former Russian army captain to safety would require some ingenuity and a healthy dose of luck. Bokorov wheezed and looked up at Hawk.
"Why are you doing this?"
Hawk glanced down at the man before continuing to scan the yard. "I need your help, and I'm betting you're willing to help me." Bokorov coughed. He tried to cover his mouth, but the fit came on so quickly and violently that he couldn't. "Hang in there," Hawk said. "We'll be out of here soon enough." The prisoner Hawk had given a gun to was firing on prison guards to the east of Hawk's position. Hawk went west, which was a largely unguarded area and nearly devoid of any escapees streaking toward freedom. The move was risky, as he'd been an easier target for any guard who decided to pursue the handful of prisoners trudging through the snow. And to the east, where all the attention had been focused, there were far more prisoners, yet they were more focused on getting revenge than getting out. "How am I looking?" Hawk asked over the comms. "Great, as far as I can tell," Hawk said. "Once you reach the woods, it'll be more difficult for me to help you, but I don't see any heat signatures behind you." Hawk's lungs burned as he ran as far as he could while carrying another man, albeit only a shell of one. After a couple of minutes, Hawk reached the forest, disappearing beneath a thick canopy. "I'm starting to lose you," Alex said. "No worries," Hawk said. "I've only got 10 minutes until I reach the extraction point." 15 by my count, if you don't pick up the pace," Alex said. "Roger that." Hawk's legs and arms joined his lungs, all aching from exertion. The snow depth had gone from a few inches in the more traveled areas to over a foot deep, slowing him down even more. Hawk fought against the urge to stop, attempting to increase his pace despite the conditions. However, he wanted to give up completely and make a dash for the extraction point when he heard motors whining in the distance. "Is that what I think it is?" Hawk asked. Alex sighed. "I was hoping that just one time we'd get an assignment to go off without a hitch." "That ship sailed a long time ago," Hawk said. "I was just hoping we'd get an assignment to go off without a half dozen hitches. If you want to feel good about things in life, you have to lower your expectations." "Did you lower your expectations for me?" she asked. "No," Hawk said with a chuckle. "You've exceeded all my expectations. Except for the cold feet thing, when we're in bed. I've heard other men complain about that, but I thought those stories were just guys trying to be funny." She laughed. "That's pretty much universal. But you need to keep moving if I'm ever going to put my cold feet on you again." "New marriage goals," he said. "I'll never be so happy for you to put your cold feet on me again. Or give John Daniel a bath and put him to bed." The snowmobiles Hawk had heard in the distance were fast approaching. Apparently, Bokorov heard them too.
"You can put me down here," the Russian said.
"I'm not leaving you behind," Hawk said, continuing to slog through the snow.
"If you want me to help you, you will," Bokorov said. "I won't tell you anything if you don't put me down right now."
"I need you alive."
Bokorov shook his head. "I doubt you do."
Hawk paused and looked down at Bokorov, his eyes reflecting the bright moonlight piercing the forest canopy. "You know why I'm here?"
"It's about Operation Alarm Clock, isn't it?"
Hawk nodded. "How did you know?"
"It's why I was in prison," Bokorov said. "And it's the only reason why any American would want to get me out."
"So you'll help me?"
"Only if you promise to leave me here," Bokorov said. "And I won't hold it against you. You'll die if you take me wherever it is that you want to go, long before I ever tell you what you need to know. And I didn't want to die in that prison."
Hawk knelt down near a fallen log. He placed Bokorov next to it, providing a small respite from the breeze whipping through the trees. "What do I need to know?"
"And there's a locker at the Sirkeci train station in Istanbul, number 437. Bokarov began. It contains all the details of the operation, including the agents, their aliases, their jobs, everything. It was accurate before I was in prison 3 years ago, and will tell you each operative's target. Are you sure it's still there? Hawk asked. Bokarov coughed, wincing in pain. He took off his watch and handed it to Hawk. It should still be there. The code to the locker is etched on the back of this watch. And the FSB doesn't know about this? Bokarov shrugged. The FSB tortured me for information, demanding to know if I'd make copies of all my files. I insisted that I hadn't, but they didn't believe me. They know I hid something somewhere, but they arrested me at the train station in Istanbul, so they probably suspect something is there. You must be careful because they will be watching. And if I can't find it there, then your only hope is to convince General Dmitry Gusev that... Bokarov broke into another coughing fit. Hawk cupped his hands behind his ear to listen for the sound of the snowmobile engines. They were getting closer, and fast. General Dmitry Gusev, Hawk said. What about him? He knows everything, too, but he won't be willing to help. Why not? Hawk asked. There's something you need to know about him. Hawk heard the sound of a twig breaking nearby. What do I need to know about Gusev? He whispered. Bokarov started coughing again. His voice grew weak, almost inaudible as he tried to continue. But before he could finish his thought, gunfire shattered the stillness. Bullets pinged off their position, peppering the snow around them. Hawk grabbed Bokarov and tried to roll on the other side of the log. Hawk laid prone next to Bokarov as the gunfire continued. What do I need to know? Bokarov didn't say a word. Hawk looked at the man's face, lit only by the moonlight. His eyes were closed and he wasn't moving. Bokarov, stay with me, Hawk said. The old man didn't move. Hawk gently shook him in an effort to get any type of response from him, but Bokarov didn't stir. Then Hawk reached behind the Russian captain's back to see if he could prop him up at the base of a large tree nearby. However, Hawk felt a sticky substance on Bokarov's back. While trying to get him to move, Hawk recognized it immediately. Blood. Bokarov's back was covered in blood. As far as Hawk could figure, the old man had suffered a gunshot wound when they rolled over the log to take cover. Bokarov was gone. Hawk cursed under his breath before returning fire. He hit one of the guards, who screamed in pain. The other shooter ran over to help his colleague. Hawk didn't need an invitation to run. After glancing at his GPS, he entered the coordinates for the extraction point and then started running. He heard a couple more shots fired, but Hawk didn't look back. What's happening? Alex asked. A few seconds ago, you weren't even moving. Now watching your heat signature is like watching the Flash speed through Manhattan. Bokarov's dead, Hawk said. That's it? She asked. This was all for naught? Not exactly. I didn't get Bokarov, but we got what we came for. He told me where to find the information. I'll let the extraction team know you'll be arriving any minute now. Hawk pumped his arms as he ran, leaping over fallen trees and trickling brooks, all while heading straight into the stiff wind. May you rest in peace, Oleg, Hawk said under his breath. May you rest in peace.
All right, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed that, Covert Invasion. If you haven't bought it already, go out and get it and read the rest of it. And or if you listen to books, I hope you enjoy Dwight Kuhlman's version, which will be coming out in January sometime. So got a bit of a wait there, but it'll be worth it because you won't have to put up with my terrible accents and my butchering of the Russian language. So anyway, that's it. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. And yeah, that is it. Talk to you guys later.